I really came into this with guys I've been with for 20 years. With none of them being around it, I feel like I'm out here alone. The press will tell you anything, and it's so fake. It's a big, like, masquerade. The streets excite me. When you're out here in the street and in the world, that's part of it. It's like jail, it's like death. Like, these things happen. In my mind, I'm just doing what rappers do. My name is Pusha T, and I make music. Only time I'm nervous is when I know that the crowd isn't necessarily my crowd. You'll be doing an event and it's just so not your demographic. It's just so not, the synergy just isn't there. And I can feel that as soon as I walk into the building. It's like a parody. You see people dancing all off beat and shit. You looking at them, it's like, you don't even know what this is about. I only rap for my core fans. They love my music. They're diehard. I dial in onto those people.
Come get this money, baby. We mess with all Pusha T, you heard? Lyrics, right now, he at the top of his game. Peace.
This is the most convenient, the fastest, it's everything I need. It's everything I need in New York City right here. Wow. It definitely helps when your fan base is built from, you know, a grassroots level. Yeah.
For those who don't know, I go by the name of Pusha T.
When you look at my career, my fan has always given me a chance. With everything else that's going on in the world, guys having 50 hit records, they still wait on it. I've gone through scrutiny, criticisms because of my content, only to watch it, you know, blossom into a whole genre of music that people love today.
Ooh, suicide, it's a suicide. I'm just talking to the world like it's you and I. When they come to shoot us, my niggas is trained to go.
You know, it's nothing like being on stage and seeing somebody wince at a line, or just some unassuming individual in the front row going word for word with me. And then I start performing with those people directly. Those people are loud and those people are like just into you. That level of interaction, you can't buy that. I just remained authentic to what was going on in my life. I was born in the Bronx, New York, and was raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I grew up in a pretty good neighborhood. Wasn't any type of danger. Wasn't far from it, but it's what exposed me to the good, the bad, the ugly of just life. My brother Gene brought music into our house. He'd make photo albums of all his favorite artists, whether it be Michael Jackson, Run DMC, so on and so forth. And if you toyed with that, please, he'd go crazy. Me and my brother's relationship has always been super close. My brother's 5 years older than me. My mother always made him look after me. I was with him all the time. As a creative, man, I was just copying all of my favorite artists. Man, I looked up to anybody who was on a Clue tape, whether that be Fab, whether that be Jadakiss, The Lox, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang. I was just trying to just be better or realer or whatever I thought that they were. I had to outdo it. To even get the underground music that they made, I had to drive to Norfolk, wait on the mixtape man, a man who had mixtapes in a pouch. Yeah, I remember that you didn't even know when it was coming out. It was really a treasure hunt. Me and Pharrell and my brother and Chad Hugo and a few other creatives from around our area, we would all go to Chad's house, and primarily it would be my brother and Pharrell writing raps, Pharrell making beats. And one particular day, I just was like, man, I'm gonna write. And I just wrote a verse, and everybody loved it. And I was like in high school, probably. I would say that had a lot to do with Pharrell's passion and my brother's passion, you know, chasing their dream musically. coming up in the music business, it's all about working as a unit and as a team to help pull each other up. And we are the squad.
What's up? We the Clipse. We live in New York with
I began to realize that me and my brother were touching success when I specifically went on a promo tour for the record Grinding. Within that promo tour, we would also get like offers to do $2,000 shows for like every drug dealer in the United States of America who just wanted to have us perform this like 50 times. And we were like putting on bulletproof vests to like go do these things because these places were pretty sketchy. When we came out, people were going sort of crazy. I just began to see the record grow, and I saw it grow from a ground level. I saw the people I was initially rapping it for really understanding. And when at first, you know, people didn't get it, people didn't know like the lingo, they didn't know what we were talking about, but you had to be a certain individual to know it. And it took 9 months. At the end of the 9 months, it was the biggest record of the summer. I remember on the Clipse sophomore album, Hell Hath No Fury, and we were doing press around the album, and the write-ups were so good. The blogs were like clamoring about the Clipse. We just found our niche with that album. We found out who exactly our fan was. We started off solely in the streets, and then we sort of just found these, you know, college, white, internet monsters. We even had a name, they were called the Clipsters, like hipsters, but it was the hipster bunch that was all about the Clipse. And they were, you know, they were all about us, and we embraced them as well. As a group, I never let the big brother thing go. Anything that I didn't want to do, I could tell my big brother, and he'd step in for me. I may have a little bit more patience. He doesn't have it, so that just makes things go quicker. It's probably my favorite aspect of him. We were on tour. I was in my room, and he just came to my room and gave me his book that he wrote. And I was like, wow, okay. So now you wrote a book. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, as my older brother, you know I can't write no book. Like, you know, you just trying to stunt on me once again or do something that you know I can't do. And he was like, yo, this is what I'm about to dial into, and this is what I want to do, and this is how I feel, and I want you to read it. And, you know, you want to be a solo artist anyway, so you probably should pursue that. And I was like, wow, okay. Of course, I didn't think it was real. Never thought it was real. You know, we still had more shows to do. We got off the tour, and he was quiet, and I was, you know, just doing my thing a little bit. We just had it all mapped out. The offers were so good, and so many were coming, and he was 100% not doing it. I used to be so upset, man. I feel like me and my brother could do whatever we wanted to the rap game. Really, like, just have our way. But then, you know, I realized that we're just not in the same place anymore. He had a family, he had other things going on that, like, he had to answer for. He was so into his convictions, and I just knew where he stood, that when he told me no, after I gave him all the breakdowns and the specs of everything, there was nothing I could say. You know, we pretty much always been hands-on ourselves anyway from the beginning of our careers, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, we had to make a few changes. I don't find it that hard to navigate without him. He just always gives me that pep talk and, you know, lets me know he's watching. Everybody that I'm dealing with in the music industry, they don't have the same squad principles as I have. And I know how to be loyal to a fault. I learned that, I would have to say, from the streets. In 2009, my manager and everybody basically I came into the music industry with was indicted on a federal drug conspiracy. And they, you know, all are serving 10 to 34 years. People, you know, fell back into their comfort zones. of what everyone was doing beforehand. Not only that, they had to live up to the standard that they had been accustomed to for the past couple years from being a part of a successful rap group. When you're out here in the street and in the world, that's part of it. It's like jail, it's like death. Like, these things happen. Kids been dying since middle school. I've dealt with death numerous times. And I mean, I'm talking about death of like peers. Dede was my road manager. Probably the most trustworthy person I know. We used to joke about Dede a lot because to be a roadie, it's like a really nasty job. Like, you're like building things, you're like crawling on floors, you're like rolling in oil. We didn't know like young black men that did that. We would always tell Dede that the only thing he was missing was the ponytail. Because like he lived like a, he would live like a roadie, like a rocker roadie, like, shower at the venue. Like, I don't even know how to tour like that. He was murdered in Philly this past year. I feel like his death resensitized me, if that's a word, to like senseless violence. You can rationalize death a lot due to the circumstances. When, Dede passed away, it was sort of like, this isn't right. Like, it just absolutely does not make sense. It is totally wrong, and there's no excuse. I do think that, like, ultimately things like eat at me. So even if I've like accepted whatever the issue is, that feeling still sits like in the pit of your stomach. And just that quick, you can just be, back in a place where you don't even want to be at. I don't think pain goes away. So I can always revert back to it. I'm not in a position these days to even express my true feelings outside of art. I can't act out. I'm older, I don't want to be that way. When I was younger, I just black out. But you can't be like that. So, turning it into art is probably the most beneficial thing I can do. Hip-hop is an art form. People can hear authenticity and hear sincerity, so I think that works out in my favor.